Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 2 of the Back to the Roots podcast. Today, joining us as usual, we have Rahul, Ved, and Satvik. We're going to go
Hello.
over week 2 of the county championship and division 2, and we're just going to start things off. Let's
Yeah,
get it.
by the way, how is the weather in the UK?
Sunny, I had to put my curtain. I had to draw my curtain before this call, which is
But I like
11.
went a couple of matches watched out. How was the weather over the game week?
Over the game week, it was quite bad. There were a lot of washed out days. Luckily, not a washed out game entirely. But weather's been a bit patchy. I think this week looks good, but obviously with England, you can't guarantee.
And there were a couple of washed out games in Division Two, right, Satvik? Like in
Yeah,
Northamptonshire.
like one was a tame draw, but the other one was abandoned without a ball being bowled. So
Hmm.
Now that
I
the
That's
think
weather,
something we have
once
to keep
the
in mind. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
once
Now that
the
the
storm Noah passes over, I think the wicket should harden as well because the sun seems to be coming out, and I think daylight's been extended to at least 8 p.m. So should be seeing
Damn.
longer days.
damn,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the weather
I think.
report section of this podcast.
Mhm.
Now moving on to the cricket side of it. So I'm gonna start off with my team. Now that I've picked one, is Middlesex versus Northamptonshire. And I had actually a lot of hope with Middlesex this time, but another top order collapse was in order in the first innings. So they were 4 for 11 and then 5 for 36. So just like I think he did in the last game as well, Ryan Higgins had to somehow salvage what was left and got them to 149, which maybe at the time looked bad, but in the overall scheme of things, with the amount of like scores, amount of runs scored in the game, I think 149 was still decent. Then there was Rob Keogh who scored 75 not out for Northamptonshire and got them to a lead of 49, which again, given the scores that were going on in this game, I think a lead of 49 was precious. And again, not a great start by Middlesex. They were reeling again, where Luke Holman and captain Toby Rowland Jones had to come up and score some runs and like score quick fire 30s. And again, Luke Holman proving that maybe he wasn't considered as an all rounder before the season started, or he batted too deep. He was batting eight, and with a 50 in the last game, again, really valiant effort in the second innings this game. He's clearly proving that he is somebody who has that all-rounder ability in him and the ability to pick up, the not so good performances by the top order. So, but at the end of the day, it looked like an easy chase for Northamptonshire on again a tricky wicket in tricky conditions. They got that done through Sam Whiteman, who scored a attacking 60 not out. So yeah, I think the main talking point that I'd like to just bring to notice in this game is, I know it's been early in the season, but is the Middlesex top order good enough for the first division? I know it's only been 3 games, but they have been 36 for 5, 40 for 4, and 4 for 4 in the last in the first 3 innings of their season. And it's been 6 years since they've been back. They're playing on a home wicket, which is really not conducive to top order batting in Lords with the slope and the weather itself. So again, we've seen, as we'll get into later, that there are a lot of great bowling attacks in the county championship, and it's kind of like a bowlers tournament. So can they really stick it out in the first division? Do they need maybe new foreign talent coming in next season? I think that's a question that really needs to be answered, hopefully sometime soon before the season. It's too late. But that was a wrap up of Middlesex Northamptonshire. And just quickly moving on to Hampshire versus Surrey. I think this entire match can just be spoken about through one person, but I will get into who that is later. So Rory Burns started off well, and Ollie Pope again did quite well in the first innings. Rory Burns with a 45, Ollie Pope with a 91 not out. Mohammad Abbas, just like we spoke about in the last week, again proving that he is one of the best. There is no two doubts about it. He is one of the best in the business. He got 6 for 64 in the first innings. And not to get into too much detail, but no, Hampshire scored 254, Surrey 270. So a very, very slender lead going into the game. Hampshire again scoring 258 in their second innings. You never know where this game was gonna go. It required something maybe special from either bowlers or the batsmen to make it a victory at a canter, and that is exactly what happened. Ollie Pope has proved to everybody in the county championship that baseball still is a thing and maybe can be used in this competition as well, because it's not something we've seen too much of. I think there was just the one innings last game week, which was 145. So he scored 122 not out in 102 balls. And again, another England batsman waiting on the sidelines, Dob Sibley, scored a 79, and they took the victory by 9 wickets. I think it was a close game. All the first innings, both the Hampshire scores and Surrey's first innings scores were all really similar. Not much to separate the two sides, except for, again, class apart. Like to score a baseball sort of 100 in the fourth innings in a tight run chase where you never know if 3 quick wickets fell, where this game would have gone. So credit to Ollie Pope, and just the fact that he's cementing himself now, which is awesome to see. So
Yeah, which
moving
will
on
also
to-
be one of the talking points that we have on the agenda today, is actually addressing, one of the dilemmas that is going to be coming up for England's middle order, uh, when the Ashes is coming up in the next few months. So that's
yeah,
something they'll have to think about. There's a surprise candidate that's going to be entering soon. So, yeah, moving on with
yeah,
the rest of
moving on.
the.
Moving on, it is
Yeah.
Nottinghamshire versus Somerset, Lancashire, Essex, and Warwickshire, Kent. And these three games will be covered by our weatherman himself, Ved Bidri.
So moving up to the Midlands, where the wind is high and the rain has been pouring down. Nottinghamshire took on Somerset, and quite a surprising win for the team that just came up this season. Getting an outright victory over Somerset should boost up their confidence after losing their first game outright. Ben Duckett and Hasib Hamid both put on a 100-run stand in the first innings on with what seemed to be a tough wicket, as it was a low-scoring game. Uh, they scored 256, even though Lewis Gregory picked up 7-4 in the first innings for Somerset. And the Somerset batters had nothing much to show for in both the innings, bundled up for less than 200 in both innings. And Dane Patterson picked up a 5 and got 500 test wickets. I think that's a very, very, very big stat in terms of domestic cricket around the world. So that is a positive to take for Norths again. Norths didn't do too well in the second innings, scoring only 211, with every batsman chipping in with 30 odd or something like that. An interesting talking point about this was the surface had a fair amount for both batters and bowlers, but I think bowlers came out on top. Even though the game was supposed to be washed out, there was a result coming out, and very important points picked up by Nottingham from this game. And then we move on to Lancashire versus
Did
Essex.
Stuart Broad play that game? He's
Oh yeah,
part of the bowling attack.
Yeah, he
Didn't
did.
come up with anything big.
He did not.
Stuart Broad did play, and I missed out on saying this because I think Stuart Broad wanted to leave the game and go watch the Forest game. So I think I didn't notice him on the field during that game, but he did pick up a couple of wickets. Good start to the season for him as well. Didn't pick up any in the second innings. So hopefully he goes on to get more through the season. And in the Lancashire versus Essex game, this was a big game as England's best batsman, test batsman, and England's best test bowler went head on against each other. Jimmy Anderson made a comeback to the Lancashire team and picked up a 4-4 in the first innings. And uh, Keaton Jennings scored 96 for Lancashire in the first innings, and a good lower order batting took them to 351 for 7, where they declared in the second innings, uh, posting a total of 340 for Essex. Essex couldn't really make this total on the final day, so they looked to play out the day, and they lost 4 wickets, scoring 128. None of the batsmen really contributed much over 2 innings. Alistair Cook got out for 0. And in the second innings, every Essex batsman played out around 40 odd balls each, taking the total to 128 and ending day's play. An interesting talking point for this was that after the first innings, Sam Cook went off injured with a strain, and you could see him sidelined for 6 weeks. So let's see how they deal with an injury like that.
But another thing, talking about the Lancashire game, it's not just that James Anderson got 4 wickets, but when I was watching the game, I could actually see him almost coaching the bowlers from the other end, which is why something like county cricket is so important. When we see the likes of Stuart Broad coming back, bowling a little bit here, James Anderson coming back bowling. It's so important just for them to be there and like almost like their uh, one match can have such a big impact on somebody's bowling. So just having James Anderson on the other end telling you, where you need to be. And James Anderson, as usual, was class. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not about his bowling anymore, but what
exactly.
effect he has on the others.
And it's
I think
also handy when you can bowl the most perfect in swinger and get Alistair Cook out on zero. I mean, that's just a small incentive to make him play in the team.
That
Apart from
clip of James Anderson getting him out twice has been like
ex-
rolling out on social media like since like a few days now, and like every reel or like every cricket post like around English cricket has been around how James Anderson has bowled a beautiful delivery
Yeah, and I
twice.
think even looking at it from last week, I think the Essex openers against Middlesex showed that they are two of the best new ball opening partners, because they are willing to grind it out, willing to score, say maybe at 2 and over for the first 20 overs, get that shine off, and then score runs. They're the best in the business. So for Anderson to get both out for barely anything. I think the other opener got out on zero, second ball of the third ball of the innings, I think. And then to get Cook out again with that beautiful in swinger, when we all know how classy
Yeah,
Alistair Cook is.
that
This
we
is
have another game to
last game,
cover
last
from the
game,
first
last game.
division, which is Warwickshire versus Kent. So this is the first and only innings defeat so far this season. Warwickshire, as strong as they are, took on Kent, destroyed their batting lineup in both innings, and also batting first, Warwickshire scored 453 for four, uh, which is a very very high total to put up. Sam Hain scoring 165 not out, just picking up from where he left off last season. He topped the county charts last year and he scored 150 again. Uh, I think international call up is ringing anytime soon for him. Rob Yates scored 128 again. Dan Mosley scored 94, runner ball 94, could have gotten 100, would have had three centurions in the team in that first innings, but they just missed out by a bit. And also contributions from bowlers like Hassan Ali, Chris Wokes, and Chris Rushforth ensured that Kent never got going in both innings, giving Warwickshire 8 bowling points. Now, Hassan Ali joining Warwickshire has really strengthened their bowling lineup, and I think this is why it's important for Anderson to sit and groom the youngsters of the Lancashire team, because they've lost such an important bowler in Hassan Ali, and now Warwickshire are looking really strong to go on and win the county championship this year.
yeah. I
So they've
wonder if he
wrapped up.
does his trademark celebration in the county
Nah,
championship.
he'll hurt his
He
shoulder.
did do it. He did do it this time.
He'll
He
get
did
injured
do it
again.
this game, and they picked up all the points, picked up all the bonus points. There's nothing more to say about this. Warwickshire
Yeah.
have just been dominant.
Yeah, now moving on finally on Rahul's request to his favorite
My
division, which is
favorite division.
Division 2.
So go on,
Uh,
Satvik, because there
yeah,
wasn't much to
there
cover
were
really.
only 3 games, but one of them apparently got washed out without even a ball being bowled. Gloucestershire versus Yorkshire got abandoned. Another game that was like played, rain played spoil sport, was Leicestershire versus Derbyshire. We still got some play. Like Leicestershire won the toss. Lewis Hill, the skipper, scored a massive 162 not out, along with like a great contribution from Colin Ackerman, who also scored a century. They declared their innings on around like 450 runs, which was massive, and like they got those bonus points, which was crucial from like a rain affected game. There were like bowlers like Zach Chappell, Chris Wright, and even the youngster Rehan Ahmad, who took 2 wickets. But the only problem with him was he got that at the close economy of like 5, which might be a little bit crucial. Like he needs to improve upon. But overall, like it was a tame draw, and like the only thing that was the deciding factor in this game was the bonus points, which Leicestershire took it away because they got the 8 wickets of the opposition. The only good game of the week saw Durham versus Worcestershire. As Durham were coming up after a heartbreaking loss against Sussex in the last game, they won the toss and they chose to bat first. As Alex Lees, another England opener who might be on the candidate list for the Ashes, scored an important 70. But the standout batter from this innings was David Bedingham from South Africa. He scored a crucial 118, at a strike rate close to like about 80. Ben Rain also like had a great outing with the bat as he scored like a valuable 71 before the team declared at 425. Normally, after like a little bit time is lost, you see teams like coming out with some sort of intent, some sort of fire. We saw a surprise declaration for Worcestershire as they were like around 366 and they were striking like about at a run rate of like 4.54, which was good to see as they were trying to contribute to get a result in this game. But in the end, it was like a stab at the back for them. This decision didn't pan out exactly well for them. Durham came out to bat again in the second innings and they were scoring massive runs. Bedingham again scored, was in again in a great partnership with Borthwick this time, and they made sure they got a substantial total to give their bowlers something to get a game out of. Now the Matthew Kuhneman, again, one of the spinners that he has been the talking points in the last week as well, got a fifer, and he was the only person who got a fifer this week. He was the main reason why Durham got this important victory after their miraculous loss last week. So they got the bonus points, they got the outright victory, and like it was one of the best games that Division Two saw this week, even though there were only 3 games, and like it was a close contest right till the end.
Yeah,
So
so
that was
again,
about it for.
yeah, Matthew Kuhneman gives me the perfect transition into my first talking point for the day, which is the Australia squad for the Ashes was announced, and obviously Matthew Kuhneman is a name that wasn't there because they're playing in England. But there were a few surprise exclusions, a few, at least from my side, given Peter Handscomb's performance last week, which I did speak about in episode 1. Surprise exclusion from my side, but that's something I thought we'd talk about today. So, what are your initial
I
reactions?
think
Give us the
even
squad,
like
Rahul. Give us the squad first.
Yeah, I'll give you the squad, but also
Give us
I
the
just
squad.
want a point to me here because my last week's player of the week was actually Marcus Harris, and he made it to the squad.
Yeah.
So we have Pat Cummins, captain. He's back after missing out, unfortunately, like because of his mother's death. Like he's back now. Scott Boland, Alex Carey, who's going to be the wicketkeeper most probably. Cameron Green, uh, Marcus Harris, Josh Hazelwood is back, even though he's been out because of injury. Travis Head, Josh Inglis, who will be the backup keeper. Uh, Khawaja is there as well. Marnus, Nathan Lyon, Mitchell Marsh. Todd Murphy, after his debut against India, gets another series. Then we have Matthew Renshaw. Didn't have a very good series in India, but he is here. And then we have Steve Smith, Mitchell Stark, and Stuart Broad's favorite, David Warner. So that is the Australian squad. I think Sathwik last week spoke about Sean Abbott having a good county championship and possibly getting a call up to England, which unfortunately didn't happen. Uh,
he-
but yeah, yeah. Go on, Sathwik. How would you
there
like
are
to
still
defend
3 tests left. I'm telling you,
that?
like there is a lot of time. There's 1.5 months of cricket left before the Cricket Australia decides that we can give Sean up. And you're not seeing Josh Hazelwood is coming back from an injury.
So
Imagine he
you're
gets
saying he's going to
injured
come back
again.
with an injury and go back with an injury?
So a relapse can also happen. It's the
And
IPL he's playing
also,
after all, and that
and
too
he's
for
playing
us.
at the Chinnaswamy, so got to watch out for his confidence after those games.
Exactly. But it's fine. Even if Sean Abbott didn't make it, he
Yeah, but still, maybe he'll just get few more games to play in county.
even
Actually, one very interesting thing is that given the matches are happening in England and the county championship is going on, sometimes what we see is, given that he's already there, they may just
exactly.
put him into
This
the
was
squad because he's right there, which happens sometimes. Like if we see those surprise inclusions, like what happened with Natarajan in
Yeah, in
Australia,
Australia.
in like so it's possible. I'll actually give you a point there, Satvik. Uh, but yeah, I thought we'd talk less about the Australian squad because I just wanted to put it out. But for me, what's interesting is England is going to put out their squad after this, maybe in the next week or two, and they have a lot of headaches. It's not just they have a headache in every department. Let me start with the first headache. The opening pair. The last opening pair they used in New Zealand, in their tour of New Zealand, were Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley. But I also see a few surprise candidates. You may see the return of Rory Burns. You may see Dom Sibley come in. You may see Alex Lees come in. So what do you guys think? Like who
I
who
think
would
like
be your picks after,
y-
especially the
Okay,
I
past
let's
two
go
think
pick
weeks?
by
after
pick. Let's go pick by pick. Satvik, you want to kick us off? Just pick your opening pair and then we'll decide after. Just pick your two.
I think I don't know after like that performance in Division Two this week, Alex Lees can be maybe like a opener they can give out, but I'm not. It's
He
again
was
like
at one
Sean at the
point
call.
considered Alistair Cook's replacement, but didn't turn out that way. But
Yeah,
maybe
but
he,
most of the
it's
England
possible.
openers are like that only. Maybe the next row, Alistair Cook. But okay, who did Zach Rowley played the last test in England, right? In New Zealand, right?
Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett.
I think Alex Lees and Zach Rowley.
Oh, you think Alex Lees is gonna
I
make it
think
in
so
and replace
because they have
Ben
like
Duckett?
they might look at the next 2 to 3 weeks. They have a lot of time
But
to.
Ben Duckett did have a good performance this week with my favorite
That's why
England
like
opener,
they might look out for the
Hasib
next
Hamid.
2 to 3 weeks. Hasib Hamid, obviously.
Okay, but moving on. So Satwik's picks are Zach Crawley and
Alex.
Alex Lees. Uh, Atu, what do you think?
I'm confused. I have a big spanner in the works. Just to,
Okay.
be funky. Why not? Because I think Zach Rowley and Ben Duckett would be my safe answer. But I don't think, like, say, for example, Dom Sibley, his technique is great, maybe, but his mentality, his batting style doesn't fit England's mold at this moment in time, especially with this coach and this captain. So,
And there's also the factor of right hand, left
right,
hand
left,
combination,
exactly.
which possible. I don't believe that much in it. I do think it's a factor, but I don't think that should really affect it too much. So
Yeah.
who's your spanner? Who's going to be your spanner?
Why not Johnny
No,
Best? Why not
Sorry.
Johnny Besto at the
Probably
top?
because he
Those
doesn't have
I
the
guys, I
don't
lineup
think
right
he'll
think
now.
be
I'll
on.
tell you. I'll tell you why.
considered.
Okay, injuries excluding, Johnny Bairstow basically walks into this team, given what he was doing. Right on, if you do it solely on merit,
Especially under bat
Johnny
ball.
But
exactly.
he doesn't open for the test team. So
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't.
I mean, at this point, given the options, Zach Crawley, Ben Tuckett, okay, fine. I think they've been doing it the last series, so I mean, I don't think there were any exceptional performances there, but they were that opening partnership, so that's fine. But as Rahul listed down the names, nothing really shot out, right? It was all
I
like, oh,
think
like
Ben Duckett had a very good series in Pakistan, if I'm not
yeah,
wrong. So I think
It was
it could,
Pakistan, like you
could
said.
be. That's what I'm.
Not
yeah,
just.
The safe answer at
Oh,
this.
okay.
yeah, the safe answer would be taking someone in form. And I don't think it's very good to experiment with the opening position, a position like openers. So I think it's better to play it safe.
Yeah, I
Go
mean
ahead.
that's true. I think Ben Duckett and Zach Rowley would be my safe answer, but I mean Johnny
Uh,
Bairstow's
With
class.
Johnny
they were
Bairstow,
very
like it's like a
outside.
Rohit Sharma call. I feel like if it
Johnny,
works out, it.
I think he doesn't really. I think nobody in that middle order, which we will get onto, which will mention, is droppable at this moment in time. But at the
Yeah,
same time, you have to kind of try your best to shoehorn a player like Johnny Bairstow into the 11.
I
Yeah,
think
what's your pick?
they should play it safe with Ben Duckett and Zach Rowley. I think a very outside and ambitious chance I'd put out to Keaton Jennings. Feel like maybe an England comeback, maybe an
I think
opportunity
so
for
too.
him.
Yeah,
It's it's
I have
it's
a
very
yeah.
probable. So
I know
I have
Rahul's
something
for
very
sure.
similar.
even
What?
though he might not make it for the first two games of the series, but if he continues to have a good county season, he can be included for the last three games, assuming their openers
Yeah,
fail as a backup opener.
Before
I
Rahul
actually
starts, I'm
think
telling you, don't put
no,
Hasib Hamid.
no, no. Yes, but Hasib Hamid is my personal favorite. Like I actually hold him in very high regard, but unfortunately, I know that he's been given too many chances and hasn't made the most out of it. Uh, I would still keep him as a my replacement opener. But I think Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley will be their choices. But now, which brings me to the next problem. We have the middle order of So we have Ollie Pope, we have Ben Stokes,
Harry Brook.
we have Harry Brook, who's been the man of the match for both the Test matches in New Zealand. We have Ben Foakes, and now and Joe Root,
thank you.
the person you can't. Yeah. I was leaving the best for the last. But yeah, we have these guys, and you have Johnny Besto coming back in with an injury, and I see there being two options. Either there's actually three options. Replace one of these really good middle order batsmen. Option two, do what Atharva said, maybe replace an opener. Option three, replace Ben Foakes and make Bairstow keep. Which I think is a pretty shaky
everybody's
option.
forgetting that I think a lot of people are forgetting that Josh Butler still plays for England, and the English board is called for Josh Butler to come back early because they're afraid of him getting injured in the IPL. So there are reports of them asking for Archer, Butler, and Stokes to come back early this IPL. So you never know; you might find an opener in him as well.
Anyway, Stokes doesn't play the IPL right now.
No, I don't think Josh Butler is going to
I don't think so, because
I think he's going to add to the middle order problems. So it's like you have a problem of plenty. I wish one of these could just be promoted as an opener and solve your problems. But yeah, I think there are three solutions. Quickly, let's each of you choose one solution. Which solution would you choose?
I think I would not choose Johnny Bairstow as a keeper as a whole, because Ben Foakes as a keeper, we have seen he has been terrific. The catches, the stumpings, and everything, like in England, in New Zealand, in Pakistan also.
And he's a very handy batsman.
Exactly. He can be that, with the kind of team Ben Stokes is leading, who are chasing 215, 20, 30 overs on the last day. He can be that batter who can stand with the tail enders at the end also. So I won't. I would
give me one.
Ben
give me. I asked you for one solution. Give me one solution.
Option two, I think it was with the. I think option two.
With
Ben Foakes as the keeper, Johnny Bairstow as the opener.
Johnny Bairstow as the opener. Atharva
I'll agree with Atharva.
You gave the idea, so we'll say that you want Johnny Bairstow as the opener to replace Zach Crawley.
No, I'm saying Zach Crawley is their one, and they're going to keep Zach Crawley. I think the second opening position, even though Ben Tuckett's proved himself, is still somewhat of a rotation indoor-outdoor sort of system. So I'd go Johnny Bairstow as an opener.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick with the opening pair. Play it safe. Johnny Bairstow, I think when you come back from such a major injury, it takes time to settle in, and it's not going to be easy to face the Australian quicks. And some Ashes is something you don't mess with. I wouldn't experiment with something like that at this point. So play it safe. Go with this middle order that's been going well. Don't change a winning combination, is what I feel.
So you would not play Johnny Bairstow?
Probably not at this point, unless he comes back and starts doing well.
Bold choice. You gave me an option 4.
Rahul,
I really think England could use an impact player. Bring Johnny Bairstow. That's my solution 5. The solution 5. But no, I actually think the best option in terms of their batting is bring in Johnny instead of Ben Foakes. That would be my. Yeah, I think I really rate Ben Foakes highly, but unfortunately, yeah.
I think Ben Foakes needs to stay in as a wicketkeeper. I think Johnny can be interchangeable with Ollie Pope, because you know how inconsistent Pope has been for England in the past. So in case there's a slump in form there, you can use that as a backup.
But I think Ollie Pope is England's prized possession.
Exactly.
I don't think after the innings he played this game week in the county championship, they're going to he's just played an innings where he's you have to pick me. There's no choice.
I think you never know, guys. Just to again one small quick before we move on to the next segue. If Harry Brook doesn't perform for 2 tests in a row,
no.
See a Bairstow for Brooks.
I will not. No. Harry Brook is irreplaceable in all 3 formats right now. I don't see him being
even
out.
If he has a Virat Kohli 2014, he won't be replaced.
That also, I mean.
But he is their standout player. He's not going to be replaced.
No chance. The kind of performance he's put in, there's no chance even after a 4-5 test form drift. I don't think they'll replace him.
So he got 100 a week ago again. So he's carrying his form everywhere across all formats in every country. So
which again, now what's really important with the conversation we've had in the past few minutes is how important this game week is in deciding the England squad, because it's going to be announced in the next couple of weeks. So maybe it's like, it's the recency bias could play in possibly.
I
For
I
sure.
think the
Now,
England selection
yeah,
committee would be only looking at like the openers and the bowlers mostly.
that is still
Yeah,
something. That is still
yeah,
something.
middle
That is
order
half
is
the
like
team.
more
It's
and
half the
lots. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, moving on to our last segment of the week, we're going to go around and ask. I'm going to ask each one of you who you think your winner of the county championship one, Division One, and county championship Division Two are going to be. Quickly, like no, like
Okay.
based on the
Division
performances so
two,
far, just go for
I
it.
think Division two for me would be.
I
I
know
think
what it's
it
going to be. It's
comes
going
with
to
a
be
bias.
Sussex,
It
isn't
comes
it?
with
It's
a
going to be
bias.
Sussex, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
don't
comes with a
forget,
bias.
Pujara's going to be there only for like a couple of more matches. Just saying.
It's fine as long as some of his game, like he won his first game, so I don't think my bias will still be there.
Okay, so
And
Sussex, Division Two, and Division One.
Division One, I don't know because it might be little close.
Oh, wow,
Warwickshire, maybe Warwickshire.
Next,
good choice. They are top of the table after all.
guys, quick
Um,
fire. This is quick fire.
Atharva, fast.
Okay, quick fire.
Two choices.
County Division 2. I would go 1 second. I'm really thinking this through by looking at the
Safe
table.
answer, Sussex.
Tarwa, quick fire. This is quick fire.
Quick fire.
Don't do my line. I'd go fine. I'd go table toppers, Leicestershire at this point.
Okay, and Division One.
Division 1, I think the most all-round team I've seen in the last 2 weeks is Surrey. So I'd go Surrey for me.
Uh, I think for me, Division One is Warwickshire for me. They're really overpowered. Sam Hain has just been continuing his form. Vokes, Hassan Ali. I think there's no debate there. I think Division Two, I'd stick with Leicestershire because they're on top of the table. But for me, I really want Yorkshire to come up. They're too big a county to be down in Division Two. They have big names. I feel like they all return to their
Yeah.
spot. They could push for a promotion this year. They might end up winning Division Two. So I'll say Yorkshire for now.
Okay, Rahul?
My second division pick is going to be actually Leicester. I think Peter Hanscom not being picked is going to actually make a big difference and also I think last couple of weeks they've had solid performances, like pretty stable performances. And Division One, I want to say Essex, because like I think they have a solid unit. But I actually think Surrey is the standout for me because you have people like Jason Roy who keep coming in and out. You have Rory Burns coming in and out. You have Tom Sibley coming in and out. So I think Surrey.
So
But
we
yeah,
have
I think
Surrey and 2 Warwickshire. Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting
But yeah,
set of events.
So your player of the week, guys, come on, we gotta tell us.
I think let's just do one player of the week for all of us, and that has to be Ollie Pope. There's no question.
No,
Thank you. Next.
No.
That's
no.
on Ariana
Okay,
Grande.
Dave.
We will move on.
No. I have from Division Two this time, bro. David
so
Bedingham.
quickly.
He scored in both innings, bro. Like a century in the first innings and the second innings also he had a massive partnership also, which led to his
Yeah.
side winning the game. So I think for me it's him.
Okay. Ollie Pope, Bellingham made.
Just because he got 500 first-class wickets, I'm just going to say Dane Patterson, just to give him that limelight and that credit for this week. So I'm going to stick with him.
I am actually going to go with Lewis Gregory for his seventh because I did say his name last year and I think last episode, and I think he's a contender for the one-day squad. So I think he has a good chance we get.
I hope one day we all of four of us get one name right.
Yes, on that note, and our horrible predictions continue. But thank you guys for watching this episode of the Back to the Roots podcast. Stay tuned for more and see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you next week.